Good morning, students. Welcome to Standard 12. I hope all of you are safe and fine at home. I am Ishita ma'am and I am here to conduct a class for sociology. We know there are two books in sociology. The first book is Indian Society and the second book is Social Change and Development in India. Today I will be dealing with the second book. The chapter name is Cultural Change. The second chapter from the second book, Cultural Change. As we have seen in the first chapter, how colonialism have altered the structure of the Indian society. Here in this chapter, we will focus on the cultural aspects of change. The four cultural aspects of change that took place through the processes called Sanskritization, secularization, modernization, and westernization. This is the chapter called Cultural Change. We saw in the last chapter how colonialism brought in changes that altered the entire structure of the society. How industrialization and urbanization transformed the lives of the people. The cultural aspect over here is that changes took place in the culture, the ways of life, norms, values, fashion, and even body language. So we can say that industrialization and urbanization transformed the lives of the people. We have here the social reformers in the 19th and 20th century. The changes that took place here we will see in two aspects. The first deals with the deliberate and the conscious efforts made by the 19th century social reformers and the early 20th century nationalists to bring in the changes in the social practices that discriminated against women and lower caste. And the second, with a less deliberate attempt, yet changes in the cultural practices that can be understood here in four broad concepts, namely Sanskritization, modernization, secularization, and westernization. Here, the first aspect, Sanskritization, predates the coming of colonial rule. When we look at the first deliberate change, it is of sati, child marriage, widow remarriage, and caste discrimination. It is not that attempts were not made to fight against social discrimination in colonial India. They were actually central to Buddhism, Sufi, and Bhakti movements. New technology speeded up various forms of communication. The printing press, the telegraph, microphone, movement of people and goods through steamship and railways helped quick movement in the new ideas. Within India, the social reformers from Punjab and Bengal, they exchanged the ideas with reformers of Madras and Maharashtra. Modern social organizations were set up like the Brahmo Samaj in Bengal and the Arya Samaj in Punjab. The All India Muslim Ladies Conference was founded in 1914. Indian reformers debated not only in the public meetings but through public media like newspapers and journals. Their writings, the translations of writings of social reformers from one Indian language to another also took place. New ideas of liberalism and freedom, new ideas of homemaking and marriage, new roles for mothers and daughters were developed, new ideas of self-conscious pride took place in culture and tradition. The value of education also became very important. It was seen as a very crucial attempt for a nation to become modern and at the same time to retain its ancient heritage. The idea of female education was debated intensely. Jyotiba Phule was the first one to open school for the women in Pune. Sati was opposed by Brahmo Samaj. Orthodox members of the Hindu community in Bengal formed an organization called Dharma Sabha and petitioned the British, arguing that reformers had no right to interpret the sacred text. Jyotiba Phule thus recalled the glory of pre-Aryan age, while the others, like Bal Gangadhar Tilak, established the glory of the Aryan period. In other words, we can tell that 19th century reform initiated a period of questioning, interpretations, and both intellectual and social growth. Different kinds of social change. The first aspect of such a kind of social change, we take up the concept of Sanskritization. It is basically the positional change that is acquiring wealth to go up the ladder of social hierarchy. The term was coined by M.N. Srinivas. If we need to define what is Sanskritization, it can be briefly defined as the process by which a low caste or tribe or any other group takes over the customs, rituals, beliefs, ideology and style of life of a high and in particular twice born caste. The various spheres of impact that Sanskritization had was on language, literature, ideology, music, dance, drama, style of life and ritual. It is very evident that the areas where a highly Sanskritized caste was dominant, the entire culture of that region underwent a certain amount of Sanskritization. But on the other hand, in regions where the non-Sanskritic castes were dominant, it was totally different. The influence of those non-Sanskritic castes were much more stronger. So, such areas or such process can be defined as de-Sanskritization. Sanskritization suggests a process whereby people want to improve their status through adoption of names and customs of culturally high-placed group. The reference model is usually financially better off than the one who wants to Sanskritize themselves. In both, the aspiration or the desire to be like the higher placed group occurs only when people become wealthy. It is such a process where Sanskritization was also criticized. How? The first one can be given an example. It was criticized for exaggerating social mobility or the scope of lower caste to move up the social ladder. Actually, it leads to no structural change of that particular group or individual. It was only positional change of some individuals. It was also pointed out that the ideology of Sanskritization accepts the way the upper caste as superior and the lower caste as inferior. The third one, it rests on inequality and exclusion. That means it is believed that the pollution and purity of people was justifiable, where the upper caste was related to purity and the lower caste to pollution. That means the occupations which were related to the upper caste people were looked as purity of that particular group, and the lower caste people, those who had occupation which were looked down, were treated as pollution. Next, Sanskritization also results in the adoption of upper caste rites and rituals, RITES, rites and rituals. That means it leads to the practice of secluding the girls and the women, adopting dowry practices instead of bride price, and practicing caste discrimination against other group. And the last one is the effect of such a trend is that the key characteristic of the Dalit culture and the society are eroded. Identities that were the basis of work, craft such as the artisanal abilities, knowledge forms of medicine, ecology, agriculture and animal husbandry are regarded useless in the industrial era.